welcome US Virgin Islands Chess to another broadcast Sicilian defense from the FIDE Arena 2021 edition. And I hope everyone's getting started off to a nice, safe and sound new year, probably practicing a lot of chess online and over the board for my players, other coaches, masters abroad and elsewhere. So we have a Sicilian game here that I want to talk about, and not just go through like I normally do, guys. I just show how I win games online so that I can demonstrate how to play certain systems and certain openings. That's why I demonstrate these games, but today we're going to do it a little differently with this video. We're just going to talk about a couple things in the Sicilian with d6 as a response to knight f3, guys. d6 here is Kasparov's defense, Garry Kasparov. This is his defense. So let's talk about this. Bishop to c4, now going for the Baudelaire variation. And in this position, a lot of people now are just playing h6 online. I like to play h6 a lot. And after c3 and a6, which is a good move, kind of hitting at what could have been a knight orphan after a3, b5 now. Bishop a2 is a good move. And after developing the light squared bishop, bishop e7 and d3, knight f6, short castles immediately by my opponent, knight to c6, bishop to d5. Okay, so bishop to d5 is not the best move. I mean, it's a move, but however, something better would just be something like, yeah, maybe just bishop f4, and you can start influencing the center now more. This isn't the best bishop center move, but they're saying it's okay here in the virtual analysis. And the move I played in the game should be no surprise, just knight captures. I will, yes, exchange a knight for a bishop here in this position, except now, having double pawns on the d file for my opponent, the computer really likes knight to e5 after this exchange. And let's just say knight captures and pawn captures. Now there's a double attack here on this d5 pawn, and how to defend it. Well, you really can't play something like queen f3. You're not supposed to. Rook e1 isn't good. There's no real good bishop move. So yeah, if you, in this position, somehow come up with, not knight to a7, but knight to e5, this should just be basically winning, because there's no way to defend this d5 pawn. For example, if something like c4, pawn takes, okay, now it's defended twice. But then what happens after a move like e6? If e6 and takes, then takes, and rook takes, well then you're going to win the e6 pawn now. White has to capture, and after this, oh goodness, there's a check and the bishop falls. Oh, so white's much better here. Wow, amazing. So I like to go through this virtual analysis, guys, because I get to learn as well. Chess is a mystery. And let's just go over this little combination again. So we went through what happens after d captures on e5 and white decides to do the right thing, which is just push c4. Well, here if you take and you push e6, and now partner captures with white, and you exchange the queens, and now you're forced to recapture on f7 after e captures f, and there's rook d7 forking the king and the good old light squared bishop there. Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. That'd be really, really good for white. So maybe knight e5 isn't the best. I guess I don't know why the engine is so thrilled about knight e5. Hence, probably why, guys, your operator did not play knight to e5. Instead, knight to a7 played, and c4 played by my opponent, now continuing the center hold. So now let's go over what happened in the game, guys. That was a little virtual analysis brought to you by your operator, Colin Hunt with US Virgin Islands Chess at home and abroad. I'd like to thank everyone for participating again. We're almost 5 minutes in here in this short segment. Short game, so we can go over as much virtual analysis as we want, probably within about 10 to 12 minutes. So let's keep going. Bishop to g7 after bishop from b to d2. Well, guys, it turns out that the best move is actually just developing the knight to f6, because it's just going to give more problems here on the queen side. black looks a little lessened. For example, takes, and presumably white is doing better here. Bishop g7, the best move. Say rook e1. Yes, best move is castles. Now you're preparing to defend the e7 pawn, and life can go on. We did not see any of that in the game, except knight from b to d2. Now developing the queenside knight on the d2 square. Now bishop g7 and rook to b1. So saying that if, white's going, well, if I ever decide to deploy the dark squared bishop now, I'm going to keep that b2 pawn correctly defended by the queenside rook. So now black gets to castle. It's played by myself here, guys, your operator. Short castles, rook castle kingside. Rook castle kingside, short castles the short side. And knight to e4. So knight to e4 was a good move. And can we spot the move that I played in this position, guys? Okay, f5. f5. Strangely enough, f5 is considered a move. Not the greatest move, but it is considered a move. Now the knight is recommended to go back to c3. But instead, in this game, guys, we saw g3. Which was not quite as good, even though it looks like on the king side, the team white is advanced with those two ponies ready to battle on each other's side against the black king side. So rook to e8 now, and now knight to h4. Knight to h4, and can you guys find the best move for black in this position now? You guys somehow spot the best move for black. Think about it. Be a chess player and put on your thinking caps and play as if you almost know what is best in terms of short-term discoveries. Okay, well, I played one of the least recommended moves by the engine, and that is e6. No, I did not play e6. Actually, I played king to h7. Sorry, guys, I got a little ahead of myself. King h7 is a good move. That's a gold square. And now in this position, my opponent played f4. And it turns out that f4 is not a good move. f4 is not a good move in this position. Let's find out why f4 is not a good move. Well, first, the bishop is going for a check. Surprise square, gold square, is d4 check. King to h1. And now e6, discovered attack on the h-pony. And the best move in the position is just to drop back to f3 and attack the dark squared bishop. And now one continuation can go like this. Queen to f6, knight captures bishop, queen captures, and we have a chess game. We have a very nice game of chess here. And I could actually play a better game here with black. Definitely find a better way to play with black, for sure. I would double up here now on the e file. Give me black pieces. I know how to win this position. So we did not see that in the game. That was more virtual analysis. f4 and check, king h1 and e6, and my opponent played a fatal move, queen f3. Now black is going up +3 in this position as the discovered attack on the h4 knight was not noticed. My opponent did not pick it up. Of course, it was a sneaky move, e3 with a discovered attack. Also claiming the open file after taking e takes d and then opening up for the rook. So now after queen h4, we saw bishop e3 now, and bishop captures, queen captures, and e captures on d5. Queen goes back to f3. Now saying, well, you can't capture the other pawn because now I'm just winning a bishop with check. And this would be a tough position now for black. Black has lost the initiative. Black has lost purpose in that middle game. So that was why I played rook from a to b8. Good prophylaxis now, mirroring the b file with team white. So now queen to g4, I'm saying, well, I would like you to exchange, please. I'm up a minor piece in this endgame. I'm up a minor piece. I have a knight and a bishop. and you have a knight only. So my opponent did not accept the exchange, except dropping back to f2 now. Let's get right into the final moves of this game now. That allows me to play bishop to d5 now, right guys? So at first the queen was on this diagonal defending d5, and now moving out of the way, just dropping d5, right? And b4, played by my opponent. b4 is nice because now saying, well, if you capture, I get a discovered attack on your knight with check again. So, very interesting positional chess game here. Very interesting positional stuff. Chess is a mystery. b5, rook from b to c8. Rook from b to c8 now saying, well, if you capture, I have backup. I could always just take with a pawn and just keep pushing, and black looks very good and white looks very suspect on the queen side. And there's also backup with the a7 knight. Beautiful. So after b4, as we mentioned, rook bc8 and now d4. Now guys, find the move to play here for black. Should be somewhat obvious. c4, and now everything is closed, as mentioned in the previous line. Interesting guys, how when I show lines in other variations, they're very similar to lines that follow in the game or match that I am sharing with everyone. Rook from b to d1 played by my opponent. And yes, excuse me, rook from b to e1 was the move played in the game. Changing up the notation here. So good move played by my opponent. Not capturing, you're not supposed to capture here because that gives white an advantage. So instead h5 now, creeping up on the king's side. My opponent now, as a result of h5, decides to capture on e8, so capturing with the rook now, and now black gets to capture. So yes, now the best move is to capture. See? Green. Green means go. Right. Now recapturing with the queen and king h6. Don't worry about anything because there are no available checks, and the queen can never leave the back rank, although she did in this game. And after we see this, the queen has an open diagonal, yes to check, and there is no defense. Knight f1 loses to mate, and queen also loses to mate. Checkmate. Yes. And that was not what was stopped to play in the game. Instead, we saw knight to f1 just defending. So my opponent did play queen to e7 now, could not resist this check square, well, not being able to because I evaded the check with king h6, right guys? Now looking to attack the knight. Don't worry about moving the knight, there is an open diagonal for the queen, check, and this is what we saw in the game, knight to f1 square, defending check and captures, game terminated. I'd like to thank everybody for watching and participating. This is Colin with US Virgin Islands Chess at Home and Abroad, and 2021 FIDE Arena. Much more to come, and I want to thank you everyone for your endurance, your listening abilities, and if you got through this video, congratulations, your chess is getting better every day. I want to thank everyone now. This was Virtual Analysis. Much more to come as mentioned, and take care everyone, and bye-bye for now. See you on the other side.